Hello YouTubers, Minecrafters, and peoples of the intertubes, and welcome back to our wild west town of Beardwood here on our vanilla Minecraft survival series. My name is Tolbert, and I'm your host, and thanks for coming along on this wild and bumpy ride. Well, we last left off building our little sheriff's station here, as suggested by the Wapow in the comments down below last video. During the live stream, we went out and got some name tags for our prisoners here. And let's see if we can get them. There we go. There we have Huckleberry Hound. Then we have Butch, and then we have Sundance. We also ended up going out and getting a horse for our one-horse town during the live stream, and he got named Trigger. It's good to have him. We also ended up getting a drama of llamas. I know they really have nothing to do with the wild west, but it is nice to be able to take them along with us and have them all follow at the same time. And well, I think today it's time for us to work on the hotel. That's right, we need a hotel in the town. We're going to put it right next to the saloon. After all, in the saloon is where you come to get drinks and have some fun with the illicit girls. But it's over at the hotel where you actually try to get some rest and some sleep and whatnot. And well, the hotel's going to be a little fancy. We're going to have the hotel using the fancy acacia wood blocks. I'm saying they're a little bit fancy because they are red in color. Reddish, well, reddish orange. So what we're going to end up having here is we're going to use dark oak for the framing. Yeah, except that black wasn't supposed to go there like that. And we're going to be doing the 5 sections the same way we did the saloon there. And it's going to be a total of 4 of those down the way and then 3 across. And well, part of what we're going to do is at the bottom floor is really going to be where you check in at, get your room and whatnot. And you can also come down there to have some breakfast when it's time. Get out of here, piggy. You'll be able to come downstairs, have yourself some breakfast. Or lunch, depending on what time it is. Probably just breakfast. And that's only 4. We need 1 more. There we go. So 3 sections there and 4 sections across there. That is going to be exactly what we're going for. Now this one is going to be a tall one. That is, it is going to be 3 stories tall. So we're kind of pushing our limit on what we can do inside here. 3 stories being probably as high as they ever went in our wild west. Now I can't speak for certain on that one, but it just seems like 3 tall would be the limit. And so we also got to make sure to do the posts in the middle, because that's really what's going to be holding up the next floor and the top floor. So we're going to lay out our basic framework here, and then we'll be back in 1 second. And so that there is our first floor framing. Now I say first floor first floor framing because we don't want to do this next stories without finishing this bottom floor first. And so, like I said, we're using this acacia wood everywhere. Well, let me rephrase, not everywhere, but it's going to be the main part of the doors. And I am just not placing blocks correctly. So, since we're using this as the main, well, not the doors, but it's going to be the main blocks of the wall frames here. That's what we're going for. It's the main blocks of the wall frames. So we're just going to be putting some of this in here like so. And now the idea that we have is that right here in this section, this is where the proprietor, the owner of the hotel, is going to be sitting and waiting for people to check in. And also behind him, well, that's going to be his personal living space, which is going to be these two. So this is all going to be his personal space. So all of these walls are going to get completely filled in. No windows, no doors. Well, let me rephrase that. In this one, there is going to be a door right here. And then there's going to be another door for the owner here. That's going to be right on this wall. So he's going to have his little desk right here. And he'll be sitting down waiting for people to check in. And once he's done for the night, he'll turn around, go into his personal quarters, or he'll come out this way. And this section, well, this is going to become the dining room kitchen area type place. And so what we're going to do is that people will come in, they'll check in here, they'll come forward, and then they'll go up the stairs. That'll be here to get to the rooms, or go up another set of stairs to get to even more rooms. And down here we'll have the kitchen area will be right back here. Oops. I guess would help we use the right wood. So this back here will be the kitchen area. We'll set up a couple furnaces and whatnot and get that all set up. And then we're going to have a couple archways to separate the dining room areas in general. Let's get that block back first. Okay. So yeah, all of these sections are going to become archways, because we're going to pretty much be hiding as much of this dark wood as possible from the inside perspective. We're going to have several archways. This all the way up to here is going to be open, because this is where we're going to put the stairwell. Stairwell is going to be too wide, and it's going to be right here. It's going to start right here and go all the way up to those two solid blocks. Because that's one thing that you're going to want, is right once you arrive at the hotel, you're going to want to go right upstairs first thing. You're going to come in, check in, want to go upstairs to your room, put your bags down, get yourself relaxed a little bit, then come back down and enjoy the kitchen facilities. Well, you know, let's go get ourselves a crafting bench and bring that back over here, that we can use that to do some things with, instead of having to run around everywhere. I believe we have an extra one in here. somewhere? I guess not. It must be in the saloon, perhaps. So let's go ahead, let's drop in the saloon real quick, say hi to Slabby, take a look at the drinks that are on the counter waiting for people to show up. And there's that extra crafting bench. And so we'll say goodbye to this place for now. And we'll just come back to it later. And let's get this crafting bench down and let's go ahead. Let's make ourselves some slabs. And let's make ourselves some stairs. And so let's go ahead and do a little bit of work here and say that this right here is going to be our proprietor's desk. And of course, he's just going to sit. Nope, nope, not there. One more back. It's going to sit right behind there. And one thing we want to do is we want to seal him in there more or less. So that's going to be good. So you walk on up, get your key. And then we said the stairs are, I believe, are going to start right there. Now we got to use some temporary blocks to get these all the way up. We can't make them, well, these ones we probably couldn't make solid stairs, but we can't make any of the other ones solid stairs because otherwise you're not going to be able to get all the way up. We may be able to come up this way, but when we come down and over to go up the second floor, well, there can't be anything behind them. We'll just go ahead and leave them like that. And now, like I said, is that we're going to make a lot of these sections archways. This particular area, we're not making this one an archway because this is the kitchen. So that's a no-no. You're not supposed to see inside the kitchen, especially what we're cooking over here. But we are going to have an indoor and an outdoor. It's going to lead out into one of these areas. So let's try to fill this in real quick and then we'll get started on a couple of these archways. So like that, and then just bring these up, put in some of these acacia wood pillars and just top them off like that. So that's going to be our archways. We're going to have them there, and then we're going to be having one here as well. Except that, let's go ahead and do this second floor story real quick. Is that we're going to be using these blocks like cross patterns. And that's just to begin with, and then from there we go ahead and do a little recessed areas with the slabby jabbies there. We just throw in a couple slabby jabbies all the way across. See, it gives us a nice little recessed. So it kind of makes it look like these other ones, these cross patterns down the middle, kind of makes it look like that those are support beams, helping to keep that second floor up there and stable and whatnot. It's exactly what we want it to look like. Because that second story, well, that second story is going to be awfully heavy with a lot of people up there. And even then, there's still the third story. All right, so let me work on this bottom floor. Not just the floor, but the entire bottom floor. I'm trying to get this properly set up, and we'll be right back once that is completed. And so, there we have it, the first floor of the hotel. You come up out of the mines after a nice hard day's work. You go ahead, come on in, check in with the proprietor here, and he gives you a room and whatnot, and come in here. Go ahead, come up here and drop off, or whatever it is you drop off. Come back down, have a seat at one of the tables here. Wait for somebody from the kitchen to come out with whatever food you may need. And so they pop on out, serve it up to you. Proprietor himself goes ahead and, like I said, sits here and checks people in, but when he's done, comes back here to his private room area. So we'll get this decorated in a little bit. We need to take some time on that one yet. And so now it's time to head up here. And so you can get the basic layout here where each of these quadrants, each of these squares is going to become a bedroom. All on its own. So let's go ahead. Let's get this put together. And again, after we get this framing done, we will be right back. Just 1 second. With that, we have our second story framing pretty much all done up there. So let's go ahead, hop on up there real quick, and you'll see where everything is laid out. The only thing different, or the only thing that is going to be different up here, is going to be this one room right here. We're going to make that room be the bathing area up here. And the second story is going to have the exact same thing. Or the third story, I should say, is going to be exactly the same. So we're going to go ahead and come all the way up here. 2 solid blocks there. Let's finish this staircase real quick. Just like that. All right. And so we're going to duplicate this framing for this third story as well. It's going to look pretty much exactly the same, except, well, nope, even down to the ceiling. It's going to look exactly the same. Not going to be much difference here. So we'll go ahead and frame this up, get everything put in place. Like I said, the only difference here is going to be this room right here. We're going to go ahead and knock those two out. And that's where we'll put the door. Actually, we have that in our inventory. So, yep, that's going to be the bathing area. So all these walls are going to be solid. And actually, all because it is a bathing area. Let's go ahead. And those other 2 walls are going to have minimal windows in them. Instead of doing it how we would be doing it with all that being a window, we'll just cut that in half and just do those 2. After all, we can't have any peeping toms around here. And so we do still have some glass. Good. And so that's going to be that. We'll end up filling this in with everything it needs in order to become what we need it to be. And now, just like below, we should be able to get through here now. Yep. Okay. So we can go, so you go up that way, and then you'll turn around and go up this way to get to the final floor of rooms. So there's going to be a total of 14 bedrooms, or hotel rooms, I should say. And so any one of them can be rented out by the day, or by the week, or by the month by the proprietor here, the owner, the operator, whatever you want to call him. And so let me go ahead and fill in the second floor and the third floor, and then we'll come back to do our banner sign for that one. All right, so we have all three floors completely constructed. Of course, we've already gone through the first floor here. The second and third floors, every room has double beds or bed or two beds or something around those lines. And every once in a while we have the luxury suite with 3 beds. That does go all the way up. This particular one is a bedroom instead of a bath also. There is only the one bathhouse here that we still have yet to do anything with. But we'll get to that in just a couple seconds here. As for right now, let's go ahead and make our banners to use for our hotel sign. And that is, we already got the 5 banners in our inventory, along with everything else we may need. So let's go ahead and start with this H. And the H starts with a black banner. So let me go ahead and make a black banner real quick here. So just 6 wool and a stick. Except that I need to color the wool first. So let's do that. And let's try that again. Okay, 6 wool and a stick gives us a black banner, and then we need to go ahead and put that in the middle along with some bone meal across the top. Gives us the beginning, and then we do the same thing with bone meal at the bottom. Then we need to go ahead and grab the black ink and go on one side and then on the other side. Okay, so there's our H. So now we need to do the O. The O is actually pretty simple. Just do one side at a time. So top, side, bottom, and finally the other side. Just like so. All right, so let's move on to the T now. So we start with the banner in the lower left corner, and right along the side there gives us a line right down the middle. Then we go in the lower corner again, and across the top gives us our T. And now we got just 2 more letters to go. So we start with the banner in the lower middle position, and across the middle gives us the beginning, and we go ahead and take the bone meal across the edge to shorten that line up. Then we just need to put some ink across the bottom, and then some ink across the top, and finally ink across the side. That gives us our E, and now just 1 more to do, and this one's probably the easiest. So a line across the side and a line across the bottom, just like so. Gives us HOTEL, hotel. And so we're ready to put those signs up there. And I probably know what you're thinking right now. You're sitting there looking at what we have and saying, well, now wait a minute. There's no backdrop to put this against like all the other ones. And you're right, there's not. That's because this hotel proprietor is a little cheap in the fact that he can't afford the background sign on top there, and plus it's a little high up there. Not really too sure how well it'll stand the wind and whatnot. So this is going to be the middle point, so it goes right there. So well, let's actually space these out a little bit. Go ahead and break that back off, and let's move it down a tad, and let's do the same. Oh, nope, didn't get it. But let's do the same with that one. And then here, we'll also move these ones down. And so there we go. Where's that shovel at? Okay. Go ahead and get back down here. And now we can back off and take a look and see. That's a little hard to read, but at least it does say hotel. And so that is going to be that finished. We're going to go ahead and do the decorating of the inside. We'll do that on stream next time we're able to. But as for this episode, that's going to finish us off. And I think that's going to be quite enough for this time. You know, sitting there looking at that, we are going to have to change that. That just doesn't look good enough. It's one thing to not be able to afford that background. It's another thing when you do it and it just looks bad. So we're not going to accept that. We don't like things looking bad. So the sign, I guess, here is going to be a little different compared to the others, because it's got to be put up there in such a fashion that it doesn't block the windows. So let's go 1, 2, 3, just like that. Just right at the edge of the windows. And honestly, 2, 1, is that going to be too big? No, that should be okay. All right, so, well, and we fall all the way down. So let's try that again. Let's get back up there. And let's say, and we have the H at the end like before. Let's just go straight down the letters. H, O, T, E, and L. All right, well, we gotta go ahead and grab a night's rest here. So let's go ahead and use our new hotel. Why not? It's here, let's put it to use. Brand new, fresh, comfy bed. Well, then again, this is the Wild Wild West, so I'm not too sure exactly how comfy those beds are. But alright, let's take a look from a distance here. Yep, that definitely does look better. But there's just one problem with this, is that it's just floating out there. So let's see if we can't make this not look more like it actually belongs here and is being held up. Just like that. And Mr. Creeper, I'm sorry, but you gotta go. No need to be blowing me up. Okay. Yeah, I guess that looks all right. But you know, I think we can change that sign. I think we can change that one single post to 2 side posts. And it looks a little bit more stable here. So let's grab that axe. Let's go ahead and knock this down. And let's move those to the sides here. And I think that's going to look a whole lot better than what it was. Yes, indeed. There we go. So there's our lovely hotel. We still may end up moving that sign to be on top. Not completely sure yet. We'll take a look at some things and decide how to go from there. But that's going to be it for this episode. So I'm going to say thanks for coming along. Hope you had a wonderful time and enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us in our Wild West town. Next time, we may end up doing some caving and whatnot. We may need to go grab some resources. But till then, take care. Be well. Hope to see you in our streams, and we'll talk to you again shortly.